Competition is stealing your joy, health, and authentic relationships. Every time you scroll through social media and feel inadequate, or celebrate a colleague's promotion while secretly feeling jealous, it robs you. When you work longer hours, sacrifice proper rest, and still feel like you're falling behind, competition is there. This isn't a personal failure. It's the result of cultural conditioning that began in childhood and intensified throughout your life. Marginalized communities face even steeper costs in competitive environments designed to favor existing power structures. But there is another way. This video explores collaboration. It shows how cultivating joy in the success of others, protecting your body from burnout, and redefining achievement on your terms can break you free from the competitive rat race and build supportive communities where everyone thrives. Think about the last time you scrolled through social media and saw someone celebrating a promotion. What was your first reaction? If you felt a knot in your stomach, a flash of anxiety, or caught yourself thinking about how you measure up, then you've experienced the competition trap firsthand. From your earliest days, you learned that success means being better than others. Teachers ranked you against fellow students with grades, and university admissions took pride in being competitive. Coaches selected starting lineups based on performance comparisons. Even parents may have asked why you couldn't be more like your siblings or cousins. These messages taught you that your worth depends on how you stack up against everyone else. Many people believe these competitive pressures bring out the best in everyone. The reality tells a very different story. When you operate from a competitive mindset, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. That's fine in the right circumstances, like when you play sports. But when these chemicals flood your system day after day, they lead to exhaustion, anxiety, and eventual burnout. The competition that was supposed to make you stronger actually makes you sick. The damage goes deeper than physical health, too. Competition teaches you to see the world through the lens of scarcity. You start believing there are limited opportunities in life, finite promotions, and scarce recognition to go around. When someone else wins, you feel like you've lost something. This scarcity mindset keeps you trapped in constant comparison, always measuring yourself against others and never feeling like you have enough. Even worse, the system hits some people harder than others. Competitive environments tend to reward those who already hold power and privilege. Communities impacted by racism, sexism, ableism, and other forms of discrimination face steeper obstacles in competitive spaces. Caregivers who need flexible schedules and people seeking work-life balance often lose out when competition demands endless availability and sacrifice. Perhaps most painful of all, competition isolates you. When you push others aside on your way to the top, you might reach your goals, but you arrive there alone. The relationships you damaged and the trust you broke can't be rebuilt with professional achievements. The corner office feels hollow when you have no one to share your success with. This is the trap. Competition promises fulfillment, but delivers isolation, stress, and an endless race where the finish line keeps moving further away. Hustle culture also furthers the patriarchy and systems of oppression by keeping individuals working against one another instead of collaborating to resist. Thankfully, competition is a choice, so you can decide to spring its trap. You may think that competition is a deeply ingrained aspect of human nature, enshrined in the notion of the survival of the fittest. This widely held belief has shaped how societies function for generations. But here is the real truth. Competition isn't hardwired into your biology. It's a learned behavior, carefully taught and reinforced throughout your life. Look closely at the natural world and you'll discover something surprising. Many ecosystems thrive not in competition, but through cooperation. Forests survive because trees share nutrients through underground fungal networks. Bees pollinate flowers while gathering nectar, creating mutual benefit. Wolves hunt in packs, sharing the work and the rewards. Nature actually provides countless examples of collaboration, leading to both survival and flourishing. The competitive mindset you carry today was planted early. At those family gatherings where relatives compared your achievements to your cousins. Those comments weren't innocent observations. They were lessons teaching you that love and approval depend on being the best. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and even well-meaning parents delivered these messages. You may have absorbed the idea that you weren't good enough as you were, that you needed to outperform others to earn your place. The conditioning didn't stop with childhood either, because business amplifies competitive thinking at every level. Companies rank employees on performance curves, ensuring someone must be rated poorly for others to excel. Promotion systems create tournaments where colleagues become rivals. Corporate culture rewards those who work the longest hours and sacrifice the most, framing exhaustion as dedication. Even collaboration gets measured and compared, turning teamwork itself into another competition. Business operates on the same principle at larger scales. Companies compete for market share as though one firm's success requires another's failure. Industries talk about disruption and domination rather than coexistence. International relations frame global challenges as zero-sum games where nations must compete for resources, influence, and power. Trade becomes warfare by other means. This competitive framing makes cooperation look naive or weak, even when shared problems like climate change demand collective action. These experiences do more than shape your behavior. They colonize your mind with beliefs rooted in patriarchy and other oppressive systems. The idea that only the best person wins supports existing power structures. It helps those already privileged to maintain their advantages while convincing everyone else that their struggles reflect personal failure rather than systemic inequality. This conditioning runs so deep that competitive thoughts can feel automatic. You see someone succeed and immediately wonder where that leaves you. You hesitate to share an opportunity because scarcity thinking whispers there might not be enough for everyone. You suppress your authentic self to fit narrow definitions of success created by systems that were never designed to include you. The shift away from competition begins with recognizing a simple yet profound truth. You have agency in how you respond to the world around you. Competition feels inevitable because you've practiced it your entire life, but inevitability and habit aren't the same thing. You can choose differently. The Uncompete mindset rests on three interconnected foundations. First, you must actively choose not to compete. This means recognizing moments when competitive thinking arises and consciously rejecting it. Second, you shift toward collaboration and cooperation, making decisions based on what serves the collective good rather than your interests alone. Third, you resist cultural norms rooted in the oppression of others, particularly those harming marginalized communities or promoting exclusion. These foundations work together to nurture abundance thinking, radical generosity, genuine inclusion, and solidarity. They require you to believe that your success and the success of others aren't in opposition, but complementary. In a thriving society, everyone bears responsibility for one another. None of us truly succeeds when others lack basic needs and dignity. The internal work starts with examining your relationship to envy. Envy comes in two forms, benign and malignant. Benign envy motivates you to improve yourself when you see someone achieve something admirable. Malignant envy, on the other hand, drives you to diminish others or resent their successes. It also fuels competition, poisons your relationships, and damages your authenticity because it ultimately rests on negative self-judgment. When you feel envy rising, pause and investigate its source. Envy requires you to first believe you lack something. That belief itself deserves scrutiny. Does seeing a colleague get promoted actually diminish your own worth or opportunities? Or has competitive conditioning trained you to interpret their success as your failure? Practice giving others genuine credit for their contributions and acknowledge their achievements with real joy instead of forced politeness. These actions may feel difficult at first because malignant envy has been stealing this generosity from you. But each time you celebrate someone else authentically, you weaken competition's hold on your thinking. Social media makes this work both harder and more necessary. The entire system runs on manufactured envy and constant comparison. Your feed shows carefully curated snapshots designed to trigger feelings of inadequacy. The platform profits when you spiral into comparison, not when you feel content. Set boundaries with social media to protect your emerging mindset. Limit your scrolling time. When you do engage, remind yourself that you're seeing highlights, not complete stories. If envy becomes overwhelming, stop scrolling entirely. The social media companies win when you stay trapped in their comparison machine. You win when you step away. Intentionally reshape your feeds to support collaboration. Follow people who lift others up instead of those who broadcast their superiority. Amplify messages of collaboration and mutual support. Your digital environment shapes your thinking more than you realize, so curate it consciously. Choosing not to compete requires more than just mindset shifts. It demands concrete actions that reshape how you move through the world and engage with others. Start by challenging your fear of missing out. FOMO thrives on competitive thinking. It whispers that everyone else is getting ahead of you, having more, living more. This anxiety keeps you reactive instead of intentional about how you spend your time and energy. Combat FOMO by making conscious choices instead of going with the flow. Decide what genuinely matters to you, then protect that time fiercely. This means saying no more often. Declining invitations and requests isn't selfishness, it's self-preservation. Every no creates bandwidth for the internal work of collaboration and space for commitments that truly align with your values. Say yes only to what brings you joy, recharges you, and helps you feel good about how and with whom you spend your time. Choose yourself and your own needs over the perceptions of others. This creates a positive feedback loop. When you honor your own requirements and boundaries, your self-esteem grows. That increased self-worth gives you more energy to collaborate authentically with others for collective good. Practice self-acceptance, forgive yourself for past missteps, and acknowledge what you need without apology. Connect more with supportive people while letting difficult relationships fade into the background. Not every connection deserves equal investment. Surround yourself with those who celebrate your authenticity rather than those who demand you compete for their approval. These practices prepare you for the most transformative action, finding genuine joy in others' success. This becomes an endless source of uplift and inspiration. Ask people about their achievements and experiences with real curiosity. Active listening, especially with those who are marginalized, creates healing for everyone involved and is essential for building truly inclusive communities. You'll unleash even more positivity if you can see every individual success as a community win. Every achievement is interdependent, built on contributions from countless others. We all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and those who support us now. Recognizing this interconnection dissolves the illusion of purely individual accomplishment. Pay it forward, too. Become a mentor or sponsor to younger talent. This keeps future generations from falling into competitive traps while nurturing collective achievement. True mentoring requires deep personal commitment and sustained effort over time, not superficial networking. It demands patience and genuine investment in another person's growth. Hold yourself accountable to your community and your values. Uncompeting means answering to something larger than individual gain. Challenge systems of power wherever you encounter them. Remember that all meaningful change throughout history has been won collectively, never by isolated individuals competing their way to the top alone. Competition demands relentless action. Hustle culture glorifies overwork, monetized hobbies, and frames rest as either laziness or weakness. But your body pays the price for this ideology in the long run, absorbing stress and exhaustion until breakdown or burnout is inevitable. Choosing not to compete means first choosing your own body. Prioritize rest, sleep, healthy eating, and hydration. These aren't luxuries but necessities that directly impact your ability to sustain collaboration instead of competition. They also unlock the creativity needed to operate outside patriarchal and colonial systems that dominate workplaces. Rest comes in multiple forms beyond sleep as well. You need social rest from draining interactions, emotional rest from constant performance, physical rest from activity, mental rest from decision-making, creative rest from production demands, and sensory rest from overstimulation. Ignoring any of these creates imbalance that leaves you vulnerable to falling back into stress-fueled competitive patterns. Resist the urge to gamify your life or turn self-care itself into another competition. This requires examining your internal judgment systems and unpicking childhood messages about what success means. Doing this work gives you freedom to act from authenticity, which brings more meaning and gratitude into daily life. Beware of pseudoscience and medical misinformation promising shortcuts to productivity or success. These supposed hacks often rob your health while disguising themselves as wellness. Real transformation comes from honest self-reflection and sustainable long-term habits, not quick fixes that serve hustle culture. Explore embodied practices like yoga, meditation, tai chi, dance, or other expressive forms that reconnect you with your physical self. These help you recognize when competitive thinking has hijacked your nervous system and teach you to return to centeredness. Most importantly, redefine success on your own terms. Your definition might include time for walks, gardening, or meaningful conversations instead of just promotions and recognition. But crafting authentic success requires knowing what matters most to you and giving yourself permission to carve your own path. Success doesn't require overwork or overwhelm. Your own pace is enough. You don't always need to be doing something to be worthy or valuable. When you liberate your body from competition's demands and define success authentically, you model alternatives for everyone around you. Individual choices to resist become collective transformation when others see your example and feel permission to choose differently too. This is how movements build and cultures shift, with one person at a time deciding that competition no longer serves them.